Hey everyone, so this is my first YouTube video, and I've been meaning to do this for quite some time now, since like March, and basically it's my coming out story. I came out in early February, and basically I remember it was after school. I went to my best friend Chandler's house, well, one of my best friends, and we were talking. And I was just going through, I was in one of those weird moods that you have where it's just like, everything is going wrong. Like, you don't know what to do, you just don't know. And I was just explaining to her, I'm like, I'm so tired. Like, I'm tired of having to be fake. I'm tired of just not being me. I feel like I'm not being true to myself. And she was just like, Ryan, I think you're ready to tell your parents. And I just gave her this look. I was just like, are you serious? You expect me to tell my parents? Like, it didn't even cross my mind, honestly, until we got into this long discussion. Like, okay, I remember we were, like, outside, and we were just coming up with all the pros and cons. Every single thing. Like, the littlest to the biggest detail. And eventually we weighed it out, and it was more pros than cons. I was like, okay. And she was just like, you can do it. Like, she was explaining to me that my family loves me, they'll always be there, just all best friend talk. And I was so nervous. It's like, okay. And then I came up with, I don't suggest this to anyone. I came up with this crazy idea. I was like, okay, I'm going to flip a quarter. It was actually a nickel. But I'm going to flip a coin. And if it lands on heads, I'll tell them tonight. If it's tails, then I'll wait. And which is a stupid reason, like, okay. But anyways, so I flipped it once. It landed on the grass, like, sideways. Like, okay, that doesn't count. Then I flipped it again, and it landed on heads. And I just looked at it, and I was just like, okay, like, guess I'm doing it. And I guess, I don't know if I was just talk because it was around my friend. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And once I was thinking, like, I went home, like, right after that. Like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go home. And she's like, call me afterwards. And I was like, okay. So I got in my car, I was driving home. And I was just like, oh my god, am I gonna do it? Am I gonna do it? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. So it was, like, so awkward. Like, I got home at, like, the awkwardest, mood. And we're sitting, eating dinner, just like, like, kind of quiet. And normally, I am talking all the time. Like, I talk. Like I'm rambling in this video. But, so then, my mom and I are pretty close. And, like, I've watched this soap opera since like I was basically born with her, All My Children, to anyone who watches that. So sad that they're canceling. Anyways, so I was like, after dinner, I was like, Mom, do you want to watch some All My Children? Because I planned to tell her first. Like, I was like, I can't tell them both. Like, I was so scared to tell my dad. So we were watching, and the first whole episode went by. I couldn't do it. I was like, that's my nails, whatever. And then I was just so scared. Like, I couldn't do it. So then we were watching another episode because we recorded all of them. And then finally just something came over me. Like, I just grew balls, like, all of a sudden. There they were. And it was a commercial break right before she was about to, like, fast forward through the commercials. So I was like, wait, Mom, I need to tell you something. She's like, okay, like, what is it, Ryan? And I was like, well, and I was kind of quiet for a while, and she was like, well, and I was like, I think no, I didn't say I think. I was like, I'm gay. I didn't say I think. And she was like, what? Like, she was just, like, shocked. And she's like, what? I was like, I'm gay. Okay, I was, like, so scared. Like, you don't understand. Like, my hands were, like, shaking. And she just like gave me like this big hug, and she was just telling me how she loved me. And I was just like, I don't want to be the family disappointment. And just like crying. Like, I was seriously, like, I was upset. Like, I don't know. And she's like, no, no, you're not, you're not. And I was just like, I was like apologizing. And she was just like, don't. She's like, don't be sorry. And I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna tell Dad. And she was like, do you want me to do it? And I was like, well, I don't want you to do it like by yourself. Like, what's it, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like not be there, and you have to tell. And so she's like, okay, we'll do it together. And it's like, all right. So then she calls my dad in, and he can just like tell like something's up, because there I am like shaking, and then like sweating probably, because I was just so nervous. Like, I was like, ugh, like someone needed to slap me. And he was like, what is it? And she was like, well, Ryan came to me and told me that he's gay. And my dad was just like, oh, like, okay. And then they both told me, they were like, well, we had our suspicions, but we didn't want to ask you, because if you weren't, we didn't want to offend you. It's like, no, I understand that. And they asked me, they're like, well, are you for sure? And it's like, yeah, like, I'm sure. And they asked me, like, how long have I known? I was like, well, I've known for like 2.5 years now. And I already told my brother and my aunt like a year ago. And I told them that. And they were just like, okay. And they were just basically, they were upset, not because I was gay, but because that I couldn't tell them. Like, I've been going around for 2.5 years, like, holding this in, like, not being able to tell them. Like, they were just so upset that I couldn't come to them. And they were just worried about, like, how people are going to treat me in the future. And I told them, like, they don't need to worry about that part. Like, I have thick skin for that. Like, that's why I'm up here on YouTube telling everyone that I'm gay. But I feel like, yeah, so then, sorry, I'm, like, rambling. But then, anyways, we were talking for, like, 2 hours. Like, I was just shaking the whole time. It was just so nerve-wracking. And after that, like, we were talking about it, and I said, like, if we need to, like, go to any family therapy to talk about it, like, I want us to be able to, like, I don't want things to get awkward, even though they will be. Like, I mean, how can they not be for the first couple of weeks? Like, they will be awkward. It was awkward for, like, a week or two. And we did. I went to a family, like, counseling meeting, talking to, like, this counselor. They weren't trying to change me. They just wanted me to express, like, wanted me to be able to talk about it in, like, a safe, neutral zone. And so we did, and that extremely helped. Like, I honestly suggest that. Like, I know a lot of people don't like having some stranger all up in their business, but it helped. So we went to that, and we talked about it, and it's been awkward, but now it's fine. Like, it's been a couple of months, like 3 months, and it's been good. It hasn't, like, been, oh my god, like, you know what I mean? Like, it hasn't been amazing. It's been awkward. But my parents still, like, they love me, and your parents will too. And I just don't want, it's just so sad to hear, like, all these stories about teenagers committing suicide for just being gay, for being who they are. They think that their families won't love them or accept them, when a lot of the time it's in our heads. Like, we're so afraid that they won't accept us that we're not giving them the benefit of the doubt. And honestly, before you do, if anyone's thinking of coming out, you need to have a whole plan. You need to have it all planned out. That's what I did. Like, you need to have a backup plan. You need to be, like, prepared for the worst case scenario. Like, I was prepared. Like, I didn't think my parents would kick me out. Obviously they didn't. But I already had a place to stay if they were going to. I was going to stay with my best friend. Like, you need all of that. But basically, For anyone that is thinking of coming out, if you think you're ready and you think you're in the right situation, you have a plan just in case if the worst case scenario comes out, then I suggest you to do it, honestly. Because you will feel, this sounds so cliche, but the weight of the world will just be lifted off your shoulders. I can't say that word. Anyways, but you will feel so relieved. I felt like I could finally be me. I felt like I wasn't like betraying myself. And I'm such more of a happier person than what I used to be. I used to be locked up in my room like all the time. All the time. I was always in my room. Now I'm downstairs with my parents, watching TV with them, laughing, joking. It brought me close to my parents. Like, I'm so much closer. Like, I can tell my mom anything. And I just want for any of you, if y'all are in any bad situation with bullying, with coming out with your parents, if you need advice, like, I know this is my first YouTube video. I'm, like, not that great at it. But if you still need any advice, like, you can always message me. Like, send me a message, comment, anything, like, and I will reply to all of them. Honestly, I will reply to every single one. If you need any help, like, I am dead serious. Just message me. I don't want any. I'm tired of hearing the news stories of another teen suicide. Like, it's getting ridiculous. Like, people need to be able to be who they are and love themselves. But my last advice before I go, because it's already 11 minutes, is before you can come out to your parents, you have to be completely comfortable with yourself and love yourself fully before you can do that. That's basically it. Bye.